Ever wondered how a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil could cause a tornado in Texas? Imagine a simple, seemingly insignificant action creating a chain of events leading to something massive, something profound. Sounds like a plot of a science fiction movie, doesn't it? But what if I told you, this isn't merely a fragment of imagination, rather it's a principle that governs our chaotic world, a principle that is as intriguing as it is perplexing. This is what we call the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect is a fascinating concept. It's a principle that captures our imagination, and yet it's rooted in the very fabric of our reality. But what exactly does it mean? Let's simplify it. Imagine a butterfly in a forest, gently flapping its wings. Now this tiny movement sets the air in motion, which then moves surrounding air molecules, and so a chain reaction begins. This chain reaction, amplified over time and space, could potentially influence weather patterns hundreds of miles away. That's the essence of the butterfly effect, the idea that small changes can have large, far-reaching, and sometimes unpredictable effects. The term butterfly effect was coined by meteorologist Edward Lorenz. He first used it in the context of weather prediction, but it soon became a fundamental concept in what we now call chaos theory. Chaos theory, in simple terms, is the study of how order and predictability can emerge from seemingly random, chaotic systems. Now you might be wondering, does this mean every time a butterfly flaps its wings, a storm brews somewhere else? Not necessarily. The butterfly effect doesn't propose a direct cause and effect relationship. Instead, it's a metaphor for how initial conditions in complex systems can significantly affect the outcome. Think of it like dominoes. If you've ever played with them, you know that a slight change in the angle of the first domino can drastically change the path of the others that fall. Similarly, the butterfly effect illustrates that even minor variations in the initial state of a system can lead to significant differences in that system's later state. This is why the butterfly effect is so intriguing. It challenges our understanding of cause and effect, and it reminds us that the world is interconnected in ways that we can't always predict or comprehend. It's a concept that permeates everything from weather patterns to human behavior, from the stock market to the spread of diseases, and so much more. So the butterfly effect is all about how tiny, seemingly insignificant events can lead to massive changes. It's a reminder that everything we do, no matter how small, can have a ripple effect that reaches far beyond our immediate surroundings. But why a butterfly, you may ask? Well, let's delve into that. Picture Edward Lorenz, a meteorologist, mathematician, and father of the butterfly effect. He was working on a weather prediction model in the early 60s when he stumbled upon something extraordinary. Lorenz noticed that even the smallest changes in his initial conditions could lead to vast differences in his weather predictions, a concept now famously known as sensitive dependence on initial conditions. To illustrate this idea, Lorenz started to use the metaphor of a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil, causing a tornado in Texas. This metaphor beautifully captured the essence of his discovery. Seemingly insignificant actions can have massive, unforeseen consequences. It's not about the butterfly causing storms, but the idea that small changes can have big impacts. And hence, the butterfly became the symbol of this intriguing concept. Now, let's dive into some real-life examples to better understand the butterfly effect. In the world of economics, consider the stock market. Let's say a CEO decides to wear a red tie instead of a blue one to a company event. A journalist, intrigued by this fashion choice, decides to write a story about it. Investors read the story and interpret the red tie as a hidden signal about the company's financial health. This leads to a flurry of stock trading, which ultimately impacts the company's stock price. That's the butterfly effect in action, where a seemingly insignificant decision can set off a chain of events with major consequences. Let's shift gears and look at the field of technology. Picture the invention of the internet, a technological marvel that has revolutionized our world. But did you know that its creation was triggered by a small-scale project? In the late 1960s, the U.S. Department of Defense initiated a project to build a network that would allow computers to communicate with each other. This project, named ARPANET, was relatively small at the start, but it eventually evolved into the global internet we know today. A small project, a monumental outcome. History, too, is rife with examples of the butterfly effect. Take the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria in 1914. This single event set off a chain reaction that led to the outbreak of World War I. The war, in turn, set the stage for World War II and shaped the geopolitical landscape of the 20th century. One bullet, a world transformed. But the butterfly effect isn't confined to grand historical events or global economies, it's at play in our personal lives as well. Think about a time when you decided to take a different route to work, and by doing so, you missed a major traffic jam, arrived early, and impressed your boss. Or consider a casual conversation with a stranger at a party that led to a job offer, a move to a new city, or even meeting the love of your life. Small choices, big impacts. There's a darker side to the butterfly effect too. A single negative tweet can spark a social media war. A minor error in a medical prescription can lead to a patient's death. A small lie can destroy trust in a relationship. These examples underline why it's so important to be mindful of our actions, no matter how small they seem. But remember, the butterfly effect isn't about fear or control. It's about understanding that we are all interconnected. Our actions, no matter how small, can and do have a ripple effect on the world around us. As we can see, the butterfly effect is not just a theoretical concept, but a phenomenon that plays out in our daily lives. The butterfly effect has also found its way into popular culture. It's a concept that has captured the imagination of storytellers and creators alike, leaving its mark on our books, movies, and TV shows. In the realm of cinema, the eponymous 2004 film The Butterfly Effect uses the theory as its central plot device. The protagonist, played by Ashton Kutcher, repeatedly travels back in time to alter past events, causing drastic changes in his present life. This film captures the essence of the butterfly effect, but it also exaggerates it to create a more dramatic narrative. In literature, Ray Bradbury's short story, A Sound of Thunder, centers around a time traveler who steps on a prehistoric butterfly, causing a chain of events that dramatically alters the future. This story served to popularize the term butterfly effect and provided a vivid illustration of its potential consequences. Television series like Lost and Fringe have also dabbled with the butterfly effect, weaving it into their plot lines to create suspense and intrigue. However, these interpretations often bend the rules of the butterfly effect to serve the narrative, sometimes leading to a misrepresentation of the concept. So, the butterfly effect has found its way into our cultural narrative, used to tell stories of cause and effect, choice and consequence. But remember, while these stories can be engaging and thought-provoking, they often take creative liberties with the theory for dramatic effect. So, next time you see a reference to the butterfly effect in a movie or a book, you'll know exactly what they're talking about. So, what can we learn from the butterfly effect? Well, as we've discussed, the butterfly effect is an intriguing concept that illustrates the interconnectivity of events in our world. It's a phenomenon that reminds us of the power of seemingly insignificant actions and their potential to set in motion a chain of events leading to substantial outcomes. The butterfly effect, named after the fluttering of a butterfly's wings potentially triggering a hurricane on the other side of the globe, is a fundamental principle of chaos theory. It's a theory that highlights the unpredictability and complexity of our universe. Small changes in the initial conditions can lead to wildly different outcomes, making it nearly impossible to predict the future with absolute certainty. But beyond the realm of science and mathematics, the butterfly effect holds profound philosophical implications. It invites us to reflect on the significance of our actions, no matter how inconsequential they may seem at the moment. It propels us to understand that our choices, our decisions, and our actions matter, and they can have far-reaching consequences. In the grand scheme of things, we are all butterflies, aren't we? Every move we make, every word we utter, every decision we take, no matter how small or large, can set off a ripple of events that can change the course of our lives and potentially the world around us. So the next time you find yourself questioning the importance of your actions, remember the butterfly effect. Remember that every single thing you do can create a ripple effect, causing change in unexpected and profound ways. In essence, the butterfly effect teaches us the importance of mindfulness and responsibility. It reminds us that we are not isolated beings, but rather interconnected participants in this intricate dance of life. In conclusion, the butterfly effect is more than just a scientific concept. It's a philosophical guideline that encourages us to be mindful of our actions because they can and do shape the world in ways we might not even comprehend. Remember, every action counts. Just like a butterfly flapping its wings, your actions, no matter how small, can have a big impact. So choose wisely.